Hello, and welcome along to the stream tonight. I hope everyone is staying safe and adhering to the recommended, as per your country's regulations, social distancing measures. So, hello Maurice and hello Kim in the chat room. Good to virtually see you again. So, tonight we are going to look at Chocolatey GUI mainly. There's a couple of things I wanted to talk about just before. You're sounding a bit hollow again. Really? I haven't changed anything, I don't think. Let's have a look and see what's happening here then. Hollow guy. Sounds like they're using a different mic. Well, hold on a second. Tell me it's the Rode Podcaster, which is what I have. Oh, look at that. Hold on a little minute. Let's try this. Does that sound any better? Does that sound any better? Do I still sound hollow? Is that better? Oh, much better. Huh. I didn't even know. So, seemingly, it was picking up the microphone on the camera up there. Huh. Good to know. Maybe should have tested that. Anyway, Little Miss 6 might have played with the buttons. Oh, I can't show you the thing I've got. So, no. So for Little Miss 6, I have a plan, right? Some of you might have saw or seen that we had a family bingo game on the weekend. So basically, it was a technical nightmare. Trying to get multiple different families with multiple different devices across multiple different operating systems, trying to get them all into one place to have a game of bingo. We got there though. We got there. So my wife was doing the bingo, calling out the numbers. So Olivia has decided that she wants to be the bingo caller for the next game that we're having at the weekend. So my plan is to have her sitting here in the chair with the green screen, and I'm going to have like her bingo across the top of her head. And if I can get it all to work, I'm going to have a little web page that I've made that it will come up with the numbers as she's reading them in like bingo ball format. So it will come up and it'll say what number she just called out. Haven't quite ironed out all the details yet, but it should work, right? It should work. So we'll wait and see. So she's going to be here. She's going to be holding up the numbers as they get picked out, and it's all going to be great. Because my wife didn't necessarily enjoy doing the calling of the numbers, so we're going to give it to our 6-year-old to do. Okay, so the first thing I wanted to talk about was this thing called folding at home. So I'm a noob at folding at home. I'd never heard of it before, but Kim introduced me to it, and we have now established a Chocolatey team specifically for doing some folding at home. Clues in the name. I'm beating him. I'm beating him. I don't know why I'm getting such low numbers though. I'm really disappointed with my numbers so far. I'm only getting like 300 or 400 credits per work unit, whereas Kim's getting like thousands upon thousands. I'm not quite sure how that works yet. And Maurice did say he wasn't playing, but Maurice is already in a different team, so we'll let him off. So the folding at home is, I guess we should bring up the homepage and folding. Let's just find it. This one, they're helping fight disease by using your spare CPU cycles on your machine to crunch some numbers, send the data back to them, and basically an attempt to make life better for lots of people. So Kim has been at this a while, seemingly. So if we look at Kim's profile, he's got multiple thousand or 1,000 odd work units that he's processed. Some of which were under different teams, but now Kim is a member of the Chocolatey team. And we've got 3 members. So if you're interested in joining this specific team, there is a team ID there of, it's maybe a little bit small, 261550. So if you wanted to, if you're a Folding at Home user and you don't have a team, then feel free to join. And stat, including COVID-19. Okay, that's. Well, if I go back to Kim, let's go to me. And donor is Kevin R. Contributions to the Veeam team. Maurice is a member of this one. And multiple 212 work units. Total score, 1.5 million. So he's chugging along as well. So like I say, I think at the back of my mind, I think I'd heard something about Folding at Home, but I'd never been an active contributor to it. So now I am. I'm curious as to whether this will work with my username as well. Oh, well, okay. So it works both ways. Including but not limited. Yes, so depending on how you set up the client on your machine, you can choose what's the word I'm looking for? Where you want to have your cycles used. Cause preference. So there's NA, Alzheimer's, cancer, Huntington's, and Parkinson's, but they do also do COVID-19 related things as well. Too bad you can't limit folding only for COVID. Around 2 weeks worth of points, I believe. Oh, so Kim. So that was referring to Maurice's. So Maurice has only been at it for a couple of weeks. Or is that what we're saying? Is that how it works? If we go back to Maurice's one. Kevin. Date of last work unit was today. Gotcha. Okay, cool. So, anyway, I just wanted to bring that up so that if anybody is interested in joining, there is a team that you can join. And I'm hoping that I will continue to be ahead of Stevie, who is currently here at the bottom, which is where I was until about 20 minutes ago. So, not that I am in any way competitive about these things. I don't really know when he started, but I started it up again 2 weeks ago, which accumulated 1.5 million. Interesting. I see. So yeah, this is my brand new. All of this. I see you've gone up to 5 now as well. It's a nice room here. So that was what the first thing I wanted to talk about. The second thing that before we get into Chocolatey GUI was I saw that Maurice had put in a pull request into Package Validator. So last week before, we did some work on Package Validator, specifically around getting Package Validator to work with some broken URLs. Maurice has identified another one that was causing a problem as he was going through the moderation queue on the chocolatey.org. And specifically, these license URLs and the project URLs weren't working. 2 of them failed. Got 5, but 2 of them failed. Tried to get GPU working on this machine. Complete failed. Oh, interesting. So there is one running on my machine just now, on my other machine. But it was saying for a while that it couldn't find any work units to process. But it seems to be chugging along fine just now. So what Kim has found out is that this specific website is using a very new cipher, TLS cipher, which isn't supported on the operating system that we're currently running the package validator on. So I need to take that back to the team to see if we can change. Oh, did I maybe... Sorry, I apologize if I said the name wrong. I do apologize. So Maurice identified that there is an issue, and what he's done is he has... Oh, he's updated that as well. Oh, that'd be good if you did. Interesting. Okay, so two things. I'm assuming those were same comment. That's fine. So Maurice has extended one of the kind of catch-all messages that is, if we had a check in here that said if it's a secure channel failure, basically it wasn't able to establish the TLS connection, then kind of let it pass for reasons, specifically that missing cipher. So Maurice has extended this if statement to basically say if it's not a specific secure channel failure, but the status in the message reflects that it's related to establishing that TLS cipher exchange, let it pass. So I'm happy it'll put this in. I'm just going to say put it in. We won't do the whole putting it onto the package validator just now. I'll do that tomorrow morning when I get to work. But for now, we'll merge this and then I'll do the deployment later. So I hope that's okay. So I'm going to go ahead and give this a label of done and say that it's a bug. I'll close it, but I haven't deployed it. So let's do that. And then I've just thought that I don't think I assigned the last couple as bugs, or did I? When can I say sort by recently updated? This one. Oh, what happened there? Don't think I was holding down the right button. That one. That was, oh, that's the only ones I did. So let's, this was a bug. Because we fixed all of those ones. WhatsApp was this not the one that we just ran it again? No, that was a bug that we fixed for that one. So this is a bug at least. Let's just get these updated. And that was not a bug because we just reran it. Well, no, it's not a bug with the validator. It was that I think the website was actually not up at the time of validation. Okay, so that's that done. Okay, so what I was hoping to get to was Chocolatey GUI. Right, so where are we at with Chocolatey GUI? Chocolatey GUI has had some updates in the last few days, mainly from Jan, our favourite WPF expert. One of the issues that we had with Chocolatey GUI was related to the rendering of SVG icons. Specifically, the one that was causing problems was Firefox. Absolutely no argument for me. So this SVG icon for Firefox was basically completely broken. I think I have it in one of the issues where we showed what it looked like. So maybe let's just bring this up. Let's do recently updated. SVG, this one. So the Firefox icon was rendering like this. Oh, my head's in the way. The Firefox icon was rendering like this, and now, thankfully, it is rendering the way it's meant to render, which is like this. Now, the way that he did that, so Kim's just mentioned it in the chat room there, that basically the way all of the icon rendering was done by ImageMagick previously. So Jan has ripped that thing out and he's replaced it with Skia Sharp, and specifically the Skia Sharp.svg package. So those two things combined have made it work everywhere, basically. And the other one that was not rendering properly was a .ico file. So this one wasn't rendering properly either. So it was fixed. So ImageMagick was correctly showing that, but then it's been ripped out and replaced by Skia Sharp as well. So those are the main changes that went into here just now. Now, I haven't seen that chocolatey GUI bar up top before. This one up here. Marisa, this is what you're referring to? So this is not Chocolatey GUI. This is Visual Studio. So when you're running Chocolatey GUI out of Visual Studio, you get some additional tools. So this is a mechanism for selecting specific elements. So if it's similar to the debug tools that you get within Chrome if you're doing HTML. So I can click on this, and then in Visual Studio, it will have selected that element. So you'll see in this visual live tree, it's selected that element, which is part of a grid. So it's a way of enabling me as a designer to drill down into the pixel level sort of things to make modifications. See, you have it there. So that's what's going on there. And the other thing that new in Visual Studio 2019 is that as you are making changes to the XAML in Visual Studio, it will hot reload and it will appear in the rendered content as well. Other things. Yeah, I think it's quite good to see what I did. Yeah, but we were just. I think I see where you went with that. Anyway, so what I wanted to look at next was we've spoken about it, but I want to get some feedback on it. Is I want to start looking into the ability to show a modal window to do an advanced installation of a package. So, first things first. If I walk over to this one and I say I want to search for VLC, right? I'll pick on this one because I know I don't have it currently installed. So, over here on exactly that, Kim. So right now, where's my mouse gone? Why can't I see my mouse? What's going on there? Okay, bizarre. The mouse has indeed got scared and it has ran away. And I can't see it. I can't see what's going on. But at the same time, my Mac went to sleep. But I can't see what that would have to do with anything. Okay, that's completely bizarre. That can only be Synergy causing problems. My Mac went to sleep and my mouse went away. Okay, let's not talk about that. Okay, so the question that I had was, currently, if I right click on this, oh, I do have it installed. No, I don't have it installed. If I right click on this, then I have the option to go to details and I have the option to install, right? Now, if we add this capability to, hold on, time to allow Chocolatey GUI to be used only with a keyboard. So there are some keyboard shortcuts, yes. So if I were to do one, well, I don't have the feature enabled. So there are some keyboard shortcuts, yes, for navigating sources. But anyway, the question I'm asking is, if we add this modal window that allows us to do advanced installation of a package, would we want it to appear here with install and then potentially install advanced ... What's that, sorry? Well, some keyboard shortcuts, but I don't think it's possible only with keyboard. No, so there's not... Keyboard shortcuts is not enabled for some things. I mean, you can do keyboard, you can do navigation of the list view with your keyboard. So here we're doing stuff. And then I guess, no, I can't bring up the context menu. But we could look into doing that. But right now, so we can add new later. Do we want an install advanced option on that right click? Because I'm not sure if I want it there. I think I only want it on here. Now, the reason I say that is because once we get to the point where we have something installed, and I'll get to the point. Once we get to this point, then we would have reinstall advanced and uninstall advanced, and depending on how things go, we would also have pin advanced, because you can pass additional parameters through the pin command. I don't know why you would, but I just think this context menu might get a little bit busy. Okay, so you're saying it's a sub-menu item. Oh, I could see that. Maybe. Okay. Okay. I could see that as a sub-menu. Okay. And then what I'd envisioned is once we get to here, I'm hoping that we can have one of those combo buttons. So if we stop this a second, what I'd envisioned for the button was if we say add existing item here, I was envisioning a button like this one. So it would be add, and then it would be add advanced. So obviously install and install advanced. So it would be a combo. I don't actually know what the name of this button is, or this control rather. That's what I was envisioning for the details page. I like the idea of a sub-context menu. So, okay, we can... Is that what it's called? Perfect. I want one of those. So, okay. I think I'm okay with that now then. So, we will have reinstall and then an advanced. Or I don't want an answer. But would that... I guess it would. So we'd have to... might have to give some thought to that. But so where I might start then is I think I might start on the details page. So let's not worry about the context menu just now, because there's reasons that I don't want to start there. I would say it would make sense on install, reinstall, update, and uninstall. And that's the main ones that I was thinking as well, yes. It's just that it gets a little bit busy once you've got... so maybe if I go to one that's outdated on my machine currently, yeah, so this is where it starts to get busy, because each of these would have an advanced. And then you would be literally doubling the size of that context menu for that particular one. Whereas if we did that when we drilled down into the details page, then it would be a split button to provide that additional work. So I think that's where I would want to start, right? But before we get to any of that, I think it would be good to start looking at my apps specifically to see how we can get a... better start somewhere indeed. Should we use the chocolatey icon there now that it's in my apps? Should we use the chocolatey icon where? Sorry. You're talking about the one that appears on the button? Let's just make sure we're talking about... You're talking about here? Before the C. Oh, I think I see what you're saying. So if we go back to here, make sure we're talking about the same thing. Where C is that? Oh, you're talking about here? As in use the Mat Apps icon in here for or something different. Just make sure we're talking about the same thing. For the advanced button. Maybe. I mean, we could try, yeah. But where I want to start, because there's a couple of things that we need to get in play first, is we need to look at the dialogues that Mat Apps provide. Now, I know we're using some dialogues already within here. So, Mat Apps has the concept of multiple dialogues, and we have a custom one, which is the popping up of the PowerShell window, all that sort of stuff. So we don't necessarily need to have a custom one just yet, but let's have a look at where we're already using a dialogue, and we'll start there. So show message async, that's the progress service. I know I'm using one for the settings view model, yes. So in here, we are doing a couple of things with a dialog box. So let's see what we've done here. I suspect that it's show dialog coordinator, show message, are you sure, metro dialog settings. So what does this do? That is in the Mat Apps, okay. So that's if we're showing, maybe we do need a custom one. So let's have a look here. Mat Apps. Let's see how far we need to go down this particular rabbit hole. So, since the built-in WHIF dialogues are unstylable, we had to create our own implementation. You will find our dialogues within blah 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 namespace. All dialogues in Mat Apps are called asynchronously. So we've got a message dialogue, which is what I'm using there. Progress dialogue, which has got the banner underneath it. Support for view models. You can open dialogues from your view model by using the dialog coordinator, which we've already got a hold of. Add the following code to there. And view model, dialog instance, show message. Okay, but what I'm more interested in, oh no, that's from calling it. What I'm more interested in is how we can control what's shown on the page. So here we've got what is your name. So I think what we might want to do is have a look at the Mat Apps. There's an example app. Oh, there is a split button. Look at this. That's how I'm going off on a tangent here. But there is a split button. So we can do that. Look at that. Beautiful. So we'll be able to play with that. Oh, I see you've just tweeted me. I'm not sure if Jan's available tonight or not. I guess we might find out. Dialogues. That's where we got to. Let's see. Start accepting code. Okay, so I think what I want to do then is I want to have a look at, there is a sample application that you can download. So start styling the next window. And download. So yes. Where's the thing I'm thinking of? Control F. Sample. No. Control. Where's the thing I'm looking for? I know I've played with it once upon a time. I think it's this thing that I'm looking for. Sample views, sample windows, core. No. Here's photos. Well, let's maybe just download it and have a look. Clone or download. Go in here. Organizations. Maps. Meter. CD into maps. Have I got a fork of this? I don't. I probably should have. I do. Look at that. It'll be woefully out of date, but that's fine. Get clone this guy into here. Okay. It's using cake. Look at that. Oh, Visual Studio templates are there. Ah. Did that finish? Did. So CD into maps, get remote, add upstream to here, get fetch upstream. Let's get this up to date. Because I mean, the majority of the apps implementation in get rebase upstream develop get push 700,000. The majority of the apps implementation in Chocolatey GUI was either done by Richard Simpson, who was a maintainer of Chocolatey GUI for a while, or directly by Kim. So I've dabbled with it, but it's more been along the lines of copying and pasting. But what I did do, I mean, I can show where I've used it so far, is bring that up. Yeah, I know. So Maurice is mentioning there the pool bot that exists on GitHub for keeping your forks up to date with where they came from. And what I just did locally on the command line, it would do automatically for me. So where I've used the dialogue so far is, for example, here. So this is a one of the show message asyncs. So basically, I've been able to control whether it's a yes or a no button, the title, and the text that goes into here. So I want to use the same mechanism, but I want to be able to control what we put into here, because we're gonna want a few things to go in here. So what I want to know, and it seems like I should be able to do it based on the documentation, is I want to see how I can control text boxes and etc. and put them onto that dialogue. So let's open up the demo and see if there's any specific examples. So GitHub, organizations, apps Metro, source, here. Oh, really? You're going to make me check this again, aren't you? What was it? What is it? Folding stats? What was the team? 2. No. What was the team? It's there. No, he's talking about this number here. But Stephen's gone ahead of me as well. Not happy. Not happy. Right. Let's have a look at this demo. Let's bring this up. So, debug. Start as new instance. And let's see what's going on. Oh, that didn't bode well. Build succeeded, 2 failed. Error list. Let's. Oh. I think I now need a specific version of. Oh, Jan's joined the chat room. Hi, Jan. I didn't. That was Maurice. I was going to try and do this myself, but if you're here, I'm very glad. So what I was hoping to be able to do, Jan, if you are listening, was I wanted to run this demo project to have a look and see what was going on. But I think I remember reading that I need a specific .NET framework or .NET Core version to build the project now. Is that correct? And if it is the case, what do I need? And then the follow-up question was, I want to create, or rather, how do I control? Let me bring up the example. Help us, OPN. You're his only hope. Indeed. Based on the documentation, well, that's not where I want to go. You need at least 3.1. Oh, it's done it again. I'm going to have to kill Synergy, I think. My mouse is gone again. Based on this screenshot for the dialogues, how do I make that text box, Jan? How do I put a text box in there? Is this a custom dialogue, or is this an extension of one of the standard dialogues? Time to get rid of .NET full framework. Oh, no. That's .NET info. It's the input dialog. Okay, so that makes sense. What did I misspell? Is it dash dash? What is? Okay. So I had 3.1.2.0.1 installed. Is that enough? So that's the input. So if I wanted to create a modal that had multiple text boxes, then I'm into the realm of having a custom dialogue at that point. Is that correct? Okay, perfect. So let's start there then, because I have an example of a custom dialogue, which we had somewhere. Controls, dialogues. So we have a Chocolatey dialogue, which is the one that pops up and has the loading console window. So if we have a look there, yeah, it's all done within this expander. Okay, so I'm going to need another one of these. So I am going to add a new user control, I'm going to guess. User control. I can't spell control. It's not called that, seemingly. WPF. That's what I searched for. Okay. What are we going to call it? We're going to call it the advanced. I'm struggling here. It was what I wrote. It was. We're going to call it. You can take a user control and rename it. Yes. So that's where I think I was going to go. If I can come up with a name. So I'm going to call it the advanced. I'm tempted to say advanced Chocolatey dialogue, but that seems. Because I don't want to make it the advanced install dialog, because I would hope to be able to reuse the install one for the update or for the upgrade. Let's just call it that just now. Chocolatey dialog 2.0. No, and no. Right. So we can rename it as this guy, I think. So let's stick this in here. This will likely break, and it will break because I don't have the MATApp's namespace. So we can borrow it from there. So let's put this in here. That should make things work. And we can do that. That will have broken the code behind. Yes, I was just getting there. So I'll have to open the XAML.cs, which will no longer be inheriting from the same one anymore. So if we look at what was done in this XAML.cs, then it was deriving from. Is that the MATApp's one? Yes, it is. So we should be able to borrow from that one, and then close that guy. And if we jump back to this one, then we want that to inherit from there rather than user control. That will complain because it doesn't have the namespace, but we should be able to add that in. Perfect. Okay. Let's tidy up some of these. It's complaining. That's style cop complaining because we don't have the license, which is this guy. And we can put this into here. And okay, so we're making progress. Doesn't have anything in it, but the namespace name file name is now complaining. So that's there. Okay. So this is where my skills come into play. Is everybody ready? So we are gonna say rows. Nope, we're gonna say grid row definitions. Watch me. I'm gonna XAML it. And then we're gonna have grid column definitions. And we're gonna have two columns. column definition width. Watch me go. 50. Jan is currently screaming at me saying, "What on earth are you doing?" But I'm going to go with it, right? Row definition. Height. Let's just go 30 at the minute. I'm going to wing it, right? So we're going to have a few of those, right? And what we're going to have so we are going to have a label, and that's I'm going for functionality in the minute, folks, okay? No, you're okay. Grid dot row is going to be 0. Grid dot column is going to be 0. And then its label is going to be a truthful joke, indeed. So what we want in here is we want something like version in here, right? So column definition, let's make this that. And then let's grab that, and then let's just start. I mean, this is not going to be complete by any stretch of the imagination, but we can hopefully see where this is going to go. So in here, we're going to have package parameters. He is going to do control plus Yannick. Package parameters, and then install arguments. Okay, so this is the kind of thing that we want to be able to put into here, right? So 50 is a bad choice, so let's make that a little bit bigger, and then let's make it a little bit bigger again. Oh, look at that, it's all coming together. We have not really a good sample of maps for custom dialogues and the documents. I know some other places where the documentation is similar. So you're not alone, don't worry. Text block? No, text block. Should I be using a text block, not a label? It's a text box that I want for this one. Text box, whose grid is going to be 0, and whose column is going to be 0. And let's put that there. And let's put that in there. And then let's put that in there. Oh, that should be column 1, I guess. Column 1, column 1, column 1, row 2, row 1. Oh, look, it's all this. It's amazing. Look at this. We should add 1 extra for custom Chocolatey parameters, e.g. Yep, no, absolutely. So, I mean, well, so let's come to that, Maurice. Hold that thought, because it's not quite that simple, but we'll come to that, okay? So, the other thing I was going to look at was in the YAML. So, yeah, but let's come to that. So it looks like I'm going to need to put a grid within a content. So let's put this in here, and let's tab this thing over, and then let's go to the end, and let's paste this. Okay, so that's my content, and then it looks like I've got a dialog bottom. So that was for custom styling of so okay, so you're already talking about it, but yeah, so due to the fact, so there's a couple of things going on there. So let's talk about it. It seems like you're wanting to talk about it, so let's talk about it. If we're using Chocolatey.exe and we pass a bunch of arguments into it, then there is a command line parser within Chocolatey.exe that will take all of those, or it will attempt to take all of those command line arguments, and it will attempt to stitch them together to form the configuration object that's then ultimately passed to the command execution thing within Chocolatey. Now, because we're using Chocolatey lib and not choco.exe, we don't have that command line parsing available to us, or not without reinventing a bunch of stuff. So we can't just pass in a string and have it magically work. Instead, what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to assign the values that we get from this UI that we're creating to the Chocolatey configuration object directly. So the examples that I gave there were the package parameters and the installation arguments and the version number. So those are things that we can directly assign to the Chocolatey configuration object to then pass to the install command. Now, that means that there isn't really a concept now of doing additional arguments and just kind of passing a bunch of stuff to it. Not without, like I say, parsing that in the same way that choco.exe does. So instead, what I've been thinking is that we'll basically look to put all the arguments that make sense. So you mentioned one there in terms of having a checkbox for whether it's a 32-bit, or Force x86. So I think that's the kind of path that we're going to go down. Does that mean that we might miss things that folks want? Maybes. How do we handle that and keep everyone happy? I haven't decided yet, right? I mean, there is a finite number of properties. We might want to hide them within an expander window, which are the more obscure ones that folks don't necessarily want or need. But again, this is kind of where we kind of stub things out. At this point, I want to get something. Tell them to use the CLI. Possibly. I mean, I know in the likes of that's maybe a bad analogy, but the likes of GitHub Desktop, when things go wrong in GitHub Desktop or things aren't quite working as expected, it says drop to the command line. We might have something similar where we go to Chocolatey. We allow the opening of a PowerShell window to then use Chocolatey directly. Chocolatey GUI CLI. How does that come into play, Maurice, here? Or what are you thinking there? Is he? I'm not sure. Oh, he is showing. Okay, cool. Because we do have a Chocolatey GUI CLI, but that's specifically for setting the parameters within Chocolatey GUI. We're not going to go down that route. No, just no. So this dialog bottom is for... I don't think we need to do anything with that. So now that we have this amazing YAML, what I think we need to do is we need to call it. So what we're going to do is we are going to look to see how our friend, the Chocolatey dialog, is opened. So within Chocolatey dialog, we have, where's the YAML? Now it's specifically got its own controller. Do we need, for any custom dialog, Jan, do we need our own controller? Or can we just use the dialog controller that I've already been using within one of my view models? Set cancelable, a bunch of stuff that this is doing. I don't. Maybe let's just try it. Oh no, maybe I do need one. Or how else would I? Oh, okay, let's do that. Okay, so if we were to go to, for example, our package details view. So views, package view. Not actually rendered. I can't remember the last time I've seen something render properly in my YAML designer. Maybe checking for some missing control like negative button. Okay. I mean, we can come to that. So what I was envisioning was, let's just borrow this guy. Let's just create a new button, and we'll call this visibility. That's a bunch of stuff to worry about. Command is going to be install advanced orientation horizontal, install text block text. It's not going to have anything at the minute, so let's just call this install advanced. I can't type. Okay. So this is not going to have anything. Unlikely that I'm going to be able to navigate to that directly. So let's have a look for install match case actual word. Move that. Where's the thing I want? The thing I want is this thing. And then we go to implementation, which is this one. Okay. So in here, we're going to put an install async task, which is install advanced. And then we can go back to here and put install advanced. Okay, now does this particular view model have access to the dialog controller? Do you need a... So that's, we kind of spoke that just before you came on at the stream, Jan, but yes, I think that's where ultimately I want to go, yes. Which view were we in earlier? We were in the settings view model. Over here. And you want to take this guy. And we're going to put this. I don't know why all of these have such a job for a different day. Dialog controller. And then let's follow this guy. Settings view model. And then this guy. And then this guy. Sure. So then, in theory, I should be able to, in my install advanced, which was right down here, I should be able to do dialog coordinator dot show I'm going to say that is show Metro dialog async. And then in there, I'm going to have a context, which I think I did before. Find usages. Where's the thing I want? Find all references. Okay, so it's the context. So in this scenario, it would be, let's start with this. And then we want the base Metro dialog. So in this one, I think what I can do here, maybe, is go with my advanced Chocolatey dialog. But do I need an instance of that? Or do I have to close the dialog yourself? Let's see. Bar result equals that. I'm sort of winning it here. Okay. Let's breakpoint there. Just thinking here. So let's go back to our VLC one that we were doing. Hold on. Okay. So if we go into here, oh, look at that button. I created that button. So if we click on this, we get into here. So we've got a new instance of our dialog. Okay. And if we say, I think I needed to await that. I think. Let's try that again. What are you playing about? Result. Cannot assign void to an implicitly typed variable. Is it this that's causing a problem? I think it is. Result void. I just want to play with it. Away, whoever you are. Oh, hold on. So why did this thing have a result? Come back to that. I just want to see it to see if we're going down the right path. So back to here, back to VLC. Arnold kills you. I'm following now. Okay, install advanced. Huh. Okay. That's not working how I sort of thought it might. But let's have a little look and see if there's anything. That's where I thought you were going with that, yes. Show. What's the method called? Show Metro dialog. See if there's any examples. New custom dialog. Blah blah blah. Content. This dialog is arbitrary. Yeah. Custom dialog. Oh, I see. Okay. So why don't what is this at this point? This is a Metro window. Oh, that's in a window. Which is okay, so, and I'm in a view model, so I need my coordinator. So there is an example. Look here though. Await, custom dialog, data context. What's this now? Data context. What's this guy? That's just a user control. Saying just, but let's have a little look. Where do you have example views? Sample views, custom dialog example. Do you have on you? You have grid, first name. Yeah, so it's similar to what we're trying to achieve. So it's slightly different in the sense that it was setting that as the content directly, as opposed to But that's essentially what we've done. We haven't done custom dialogue example point of view. We haven't done any of this, so we haven't bound any of the properties to it. Dan's a way to create a sample for us. Thank you very much. Download content, new data context. This await this dot dialog coordinator, show metro this as custom dialog. So, and what is this guy? If anything special happened here? So the iDialog coordinator is passed into the view model, which is what I did. Hello. I want to say Frank, but terrible names. Is it Frank? I think it's Frank. It's Frank. Yes. How are you today? I'm genuinely lucky if I remember my own name sometimes. But I'm happy to have you along. Thank you for coming to the stream. I'm right in the middle of trying to get a new addition into Chocolatey GUI working. And Jan, who's in the chat room, I think he's away off to make an example. But I'm not entirely sure. And this feels all sort of wrong as well. I mean, what I'm doing here. But I'm going to give it a try. That's where I'm really confused. Let's try running this again. So yeah, Frank, the Chocolatey GUI is the front-end user interface for Chocolatey. So if you're not a fan of the command line, then there is a WPF application that provides almost all the same functionality as Chocolatey, but with a GUI on top of it. So what we're looking at doing is extending Chocolatey GUI to provide an install advanced option. So right now, the only thing you can do with Chocolatey GUI is install the current version, and you're not able to pass any custom parameters down into the install command. So what we're hoping to do is I want to bring up a modal that has the ability for you to provide additional arguments, what version you want to install, what package parameters, what installation arguments, that sort of thing. Context is not registered. Ooh. We've at least now got a different error message, whereas before we weren't getting an error message at all. So inner exception is null. Content could not be registered. Consider using dialog participation.register in YAML to bind in the data context. Okay, so in the example that Jan's got over here, he has an additional view model that whose view model base is that? Okay. Fine. And then that becomes the data context for what's passed in. So I still don't understand though how custom dialog example. That's the user control. Maybe wait and see what Yang comes back with. And we could start looking at one of the other things that we need to do. So one of the things I put into this custom dialog that we created here was the concept of a version number. Now, what would be good would be if the, where'd it go? Rather than a text box, it would be good if this was a drop-down list. And if that drop-down list was already pre-populated with the available version numbers for the package that we're attempting to install Advanced on. So what we need to be able to do is, when required, is we need to ask chocolatey.org, or the source in question, is give me all of the available versions for the package that's being requested, right? So if we drill down into our services, we should have an iChocolatey service. And that iChocolatey service needs to have another method whose method is to get versions, basically. And we need to then implement that. So what I'm debating here is what that's actually going to return. So we could return a list of semantic version. Just reaching into NuGet. I don't necessarily want to reach into NuGet there. What does the package have? The package has a latest version. And it does have a semantic version. So this thing is referenced from that package version. You do not want to try that with VLC Nightly or Firefox Nightly, I think. But maybe that's the specific one that we should test it with. So hold on. Copy to clipboard. Let's go and have a little look over here. This is where we find out how much Kim can do in 5 minutes. So custom dialog, my custom dialog. Result. Wait for, okay. So we definitely didn't have that bit. Okay. So we're going to grab those two things, because we definitely didn't have that. And let's go back to our where were we? In here. So I'm going to put this in here, and I'm going to put this in here. Okay, so we've got other things we need to do in there, so let's have a look. So custom dialog. Okay, so we didn't have any of this. So let's borrow almost all of this. And this is in our, my custom dialog was Windows, controls, dialog. Oh, hold on. So I had a, Oh no, that is... No, hold on. That was from a... Did I derive from the wrong one then? Because the one that I came from was a custom dialogue, not a... Oh, it's a base Metro dialogue. So in my animal.cs, just this one. Oh, so it is meant to be custom dialogue. Okay, sorry. Okay, that's okay. You have nothing to apologize for. So we take... let's take this constructor out, and let's grab this one. That's going to need a using statement. Hi, Adil. How are you, sir? This constructor is online. No, I don't want to do that. I can imagine that you would be, Adil. It's that one. So that's complaining because it wants to be ahead of those ones. So what is this complaining about? That's complaining about that. This is complaining about constructor can't call itself base. Okay. So then in our YAML so let's follow this one and back to here, and then we're going to put this stack panel here, and then follow this, and then let's go in here, Chocolatey, minimize that grid, minimize that stack panel, and then we're going to stick another grid on the end of it. The ma namespace that's being used here is, let's take a guess that it's the same as the one I brought in earlier. Controls. It is. No, it's not. So let's borrow this one and put this in here. Alright. Cancel. Styles. Okay. So let's have a look and see what that does. And let's hope that those styles are not going to cause a build error. And I think it did. Or, oh, that was me. So move that. Come back to that. So we are at the static resource mat apps. How does one get access to that in here? Well, you know what? For now, I'm going to take that out and say we'll fix that later. And we'll go ahead and start this again. Oh, okay. It's okay. Change it to dynamic resource. Okay, I see what you're saying. So back to here, back to VLC. Back to VLC. Back to our install advanced. See? In the example in the MATAP Metro sample, it's creating the data context, Jan, and it's then setting that to the view model that's passed to the content of the custom dialog. Do I need to do something similar there? Or I didn't see any mention of in this little sample. Let me just read through some of this. Let's go back and change. You need this in the package view. Let's grab this then. Package view. So look. Yeah. And then, while we're here then, we go back to here and do an undo and say dynamic resource. Okay, let's try that now. I'm going to check and see whether I'm beating Stevie while that's building. Ha ha! Beat him again. Beautiful. I'm not competitive in any way, shape, or form. Adil, have you signed up yet? No, you need to go on here, Adil. Hello, Corbob. How are you? Yeah, well done. I'm sure that Kim's cheating, though. Look at this. Kim's up at like 40,000 already. I'm not sure how he's doing it. Okay, we're back over here. Back to Chocolatey. Search here for VLC. Kim, he is indeed a wizard. He is indeed. So in here now, if we click Install Advanced, yeah, that didn't work either again. Yeah. So to answer your question, Ideal, you said it was every hour that they get updated, Kim? That's still not quite there, unfortunately. Oh, hold on. Jan's thought of something. Oh, I'm waiting. I might hold my breath. I'm excited. Awake kept 13. Teams and owner statistics get updated every hour. Could take longer depending on the amount of work units. I think I should maybe take a screenshot of that and send it to Stevie and remind him of the competition that we had when we were at Microsoft Ignite that you lost. You must bring in the coordinator like in settings view model. Like, so in the constructor, you mean? Did I not do that? Or did I do something else in the settings view model? So in the settings view model, I had this guy, and I brought it in via the constructor, and I've done that over here. So if I go back up to the top, then, oh no, hold on. Hold on, public. Oh, what's this? What? Nightmarish. Yeah, no, that is the. Oh, sorry, I'm reading that wrong. That's what it inherits from. So I passed in the dialog coordinator here, Jan, to the package view model. So I then set the local instance, and then from there I went to then use it down here. So I think I brought it in the same way. And yes, Adil, I was referring to the 2019 scan gate, yes. It was only once per day for teams. But I believe you need to have finished your first worker unit. Yep, correct. Only completed worker units will be part of the stats. So have you finished your first one, Adil? Or how far off of your first one are you? Scamgate. Hush. So to explain what went on, so part of being at Ignite as a vendor, we got to scan the badges of attendees. So it got to the point where me and Stevie were having a little bit of a competition to see who was going to be talking to the most amount of people and getting the most amount of scans. And yeah, I won. I won. It was a long old week of standing speaking to people, and it was an attempt to keep things going, keep the spirits up. It was a good week, a busy week, a very busy week, but a good week nonetheless. So what else do we need to do here? Let's go back to here. Another look at this example. I mean, maybe we should just start from the beginning rather than trying to shoehorn into where we currently are. Let's have a look again at the error message. So if I look at the example, it's doing more work than we're currently doing. Yes, we do. There's a good reason for that, I think, but I don't recall the entire history. Maybe let's just go and have a quick look at that. There are two package view models, yes. There is one in the common here. Oh, that's the iPackage view model. Where's the package view model? Resources. Yes. I recall. It's coming back to me. Okay. Because it's the package on. Okay, so you were talking about here. Package. Oh, look at that. Okay. It's a case of naming's hard for that one. Okay. So VLC. And then this one. And then install advanced. Oh, we're getting closer. We have a modal. There's nothing in it. There's nothing in it. Okay, so what did I do? So in my YAML, I set the content. That content is a grid. That grid contains a grid and a stack panel for buttons. So when we were viewing that, it had stuff in it. The buttons are in the wrong row, maybe. Oh, hold on then. Oh, there is? Oh. So I've got no words at all for you, Adil. You are a menace. Menace. I'm gonna put my status up here that Maurice has sent in before bringing it up. Oh, that didn't work. Did you delete it, Maurice? Oh, weird. Why did that URL not work? 1 minute ago. Oh, weird. I copied and pasted the link that was sent, but it didn't came up with a 404. Oh, now it works. Of course it does. Woohoo, look at that. Stack panel, grid, row 2, row, or should that be row 1? Oh no. that's that grid. Oh, I haven't specified the row and grid for this one yet. Hold on, that's maybe my bad. That's maybe my bad. So here, this is grid.row 0. And the stack panel should be 1, right? Try that again. Here. To here. Like, go. Retweet. Where's my? What the hell? Seriously, where's my mouse going? There's something very weird happening with my mouse. I'm gonna kill you. Go away. Oh, seriously. What is going on? Sorry, now it's back. Mouse ran away again. I found it again. It's okay though. I found it. I'm going to click on this advanced install. Let's see that tomorrow. If you don't specify a grid row, I believe grid.0 is the default. Okay. So what have I done? Because it looks fine in the preview. So what have I done? Let's try and keep some sort of order to this. Oh, let's go over here. Okay. Clearly didn't do a lot. That's actually not right. So what's the video here? None of that changes anything about where we currently are. So custom dialog, setting the contents, grid. The grid has row definitions that are auto, but because we've got that and that in there, they should size to accommodate the containing elements, which in this case is a button, but it's also specifying a height. But if we were to take that out, it should be there. And then the grid itself has got row definitions that are specifically those heights. Attribution value, I don't know this thing. I'll have to come back to that. Alignment right. I'm not sure where to go next, to be honest. I saw that Tyler had started a stream. How dare he start a stream at the same time as me? Does that mean you're going to go to his stream now, Adil? I wouldn't blame you. I wouldn't blame you. I'll be finishing soon, and then you can go enjoy Tyler's stream. I've only got about another 10 or 15 minutes. It would be nice to get this modal showing, I'll be honest. If we could get there, that would be good. Okay, what's going on here? Close command. What's that come from? Natural core. Okay. I was looking at that. Public string. Oh. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Where we need to go is we need to think about the next part as well. So I started speaking about the version numbers. So that was in the where was that? We started speaking about this, and we added, and no, it wasn't there. It was on the too many files open now. We're gonna have to. Oh, the iChocolatey service. That's where we were. On the iChocolatey service, we were talking about returning a task of list of semantic versions. Semantic version. And that required bringing in NuGet. And it was get available versions for package ID. So then we would give the ID, and then we would ask to get all of the available versions for the ID. So then if we go over here and we find the implementation of this thing, then it will complain that it doesn't have that. And we would add the async prefix suffix to this, which are missing all over the place. Come back to that one. So public async. Okay. So this thing, we're going to want to do something similar to this. So let's have a little look at what we're going to be doing here. Because this is going to be, we want to do the equivalent of, if we do a choco list and we say git and we say all versions, then what that's going to do is it's going to run off to all available sources and it's going to find me all the packages that have Git in it, and it's going to give me all of the package versions. Now that's not what we want, right? See, I was waiting for that. I was waiting, right? So what we need to do is we need to do what Maurice just mentioned, which is this. However, that's not going to give us what we want, because there is a bug in Chocolatey. Chocolatey. Choco. It is a bug that has literally just been fixed. So in here, Rob fixed the issue that was raised with running all versions in exact. So to get this to work, I need to install the latest version of the latest pre-release version of Chocolatey, and then I need to pull in the latest pre-release version of the Chocolatey lib so that within Chocolatey GUI it gives me the right results. But regardless, this is the command that we need to run. So back over here, we can say list ID, list exact is true. Version, we're not specifying the version, but what we should be able to do is list command dot all versions equals true. Quiet output true, regular output false. Don't care about that. Let's make this line up a little bit better. Now, what Kim said, or what Kim then suggested, was that we want to specify or restrict the source. We want to restrict the source. But I'm thinking. I am thinking. We might want to do that. Well, see, and maybe not though. And maybe not. So the reason I'm hesitating here, and maybe let's just get an opinion on this before we go too much further. If that's going to fail because we've not implemented it yet. Let's just comment this again a second. We're maybe not. So bear with me a second. Bear with me. And if this causes a problem, then it's all Manfred's fault. So let's have a look at what Manfred did. Let's let this load up. Well, that's where I was going, yes. So if we come up here and we say show aggregated source view, then do we need, is that what I need? Oh, that would be annoying if I've got to. Oh, while I'm here, I'm going to do this then. Right. Close this. Yeah, that's annoying. Let's close that. But that's what I was referring to, Maurice, yes. when we enable the aggregated source, then that package is available. So why would we not? You see, it gets difficult. So we're on this one. So here we're searching for VLC. This VLC will come back in the same way that it did before, but I, at this point, have no concept of where that package has come from. Now, we know it's come from Chocolatey and not from the local package repository, but when I do my Chocolist local only exact all versions, I don't think I want to restrict it to source. So I'm gonna leave that for now, and let's see if we can't finish this off. So where do we get to? We said get config, download a package. Yeah, I'm not sure what you're referring to there. So where are we calling? Task.run. Why is it doing all of that work and then not? Oh, it's passing it in there. You get list, get packages. Oh, I don't think that's what we want to do. We want to do the equivalent of config run command. We want to do the equivalent of run command, which is doing run async, but we have a list async. List packages async. List and list packages. What's the distinction between a package result? Where are you called from? You are called from get installed packages. List async. Oh, because it's specifying specifically what it is. Okay, so list async is fine. So this is the one we want to do. Config command list local only. Yeah. Not entirely sure what is going on here. When there is no source defined, for example, when both are disabled, the list async command isn't returning any packages installed locally. When in this situation, use the NuGet service directly to get the list of installed packages. I don't think that will affect us. Kim, while I don't disagree when all sources have been selected, but there are multiple editions of a package with the same version on multiple sources, if then trying to install the package, it may or may not install the one the user wanted to install, assuming he or she navigated to the package from one of the sources. While I don't disagree when all sources have been selected, but there can be multiple editions of a package with the same version on multiple sources. Yes. But I'm going to say we come back to it. Right? We're going to come back to it and we will figure it out. Yes. I think we should shelve it. We'll shelve it and we'll come back to it. So if I come to here and I say at this point var packages there, then where was that being used? Return packages dot select p dot, is that a string? See, it's not. So let's just play with this a little bit and say it's not pretty, but it's at least going to compile. And then I want to see what Kim suggested, which was in the constructor of common controls, no, common Windows controls dialogues. Initialize component. If one source is selected, limit to the versions of that source. If aggregated source is selected, so at the minute, so I don't disagree with that idea, but at the minute, the package view model that is shown, or the package list, is essentially agnostic to where it doesn't know that information. So it's not as simple as saying, I've clicked on the all sources. We might be able, don't know. Like I say, we'll come back to it. We haven't even got out pulling back any versions yet. So baby steps. But yeah, no need to apologize. Yeah, honestly, it's not a problem at all. So if I click on this now and I click install advanced, oh, look at that. Right. So we're getting closer. Okay. So am I right in saying, Jan, that, well, you see, so my question is, what is the best way of handling that what I need to do next? So currently we have an advanced Chocolatey dialog that is deriving from the custom dialog, and in the YAML I have some text boxes. So I'm going to want to bind the result of that thing to a property. Should I do that as a public property of the custom dialog, or should I pass in a view model that will be bound to the text box so that I then bring that back out? My question is, what's the best way of doing this? Because I noticed in your example, you were binding to the last name property of a... Oh, that's not where I wanted to go. You were binding to the last name property of a view model that you passed in. So this is a view model with the properties and the bounding on property chains, all that sort of stuff. So Kim, I think that would be the right thing as well. So then, when I get my dialogue result back, and that's the one thing I think I didn't see from here, is I want to get back. So does my data context, how do I get the information back again? So when I say, when I'm in here and I'm saying hide it, oh, it's from the instance. So it's there. So that's the thing that I get back. Okay. And then that would be the selected instance.version, the selected instance.package parameters, blah, 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 blah. And then in here, I would then put my Chocolatey configuration object to then pass it to the install command or the upgrade command or whatever the command is that we're actually doing. Okay, I could see how that would work. So we might need to play with that a little bit. Okay, I'm going to have a play with that and try and put all those pieces together. But for now, we have a thing. And then I'm assuming if I hit cancel here, it'll go away. And if I click it, that's a new instance, so all those things are gone. If I hit OK, it's going to go away as well. Okay, so from a functional point of view, we have a modal dialog. The styles of this modal doesn't necessarily match up with the styles of the other ones that we have here, but no, it does. I had in my head it was a. Why did I think that was a yellow color, similar to that one? So it is exactly the same, so that's fine. You can change the type of the result at the custom dialog TCS. So you're back to here. In here. Right, I see what you're saying. Yes. So in here it would either be, and I think what we have is fine though. So basically, if the result is true, then we're performing the operation, and if we're false, then we are cancelling the operation. I think that makes sense. Okay, so I'm starting to see how this is going to piece together. It's after 10 o'clock now, so I'm going to say that we're going to stop there, I think. What we are going to do, though, and someone's going to help me do this, is since Tyler started his stream, we are going to raid Tyler's stream. So let's find Tyler's, what's his name? I saw a notification to say that he was starting. So we are going to raid Tyler's stream, and I'm going to figure out how to do some more Twitch related stuff. Let's do a raid. You would need to set parameters, arguments, and versions in the set result. So no, that's explicitly what I'm not wanting to do though. If we go back to Kim's example here, then this instance has the first name property. So that's coming from the instance of the view model that we pass in. That is what has been bound in that text box. So we would have instance.version or instance.selected version, instance.package parameters, instance.whatever, and then we would map those onto our Chocolatey configuration object, is where I think we're going to go with that. Tyler, Tyler, we on art. See if he's there. He is live, right? So we're going to grab this name here, close Tyler's stream a second, and then we are going to say /raid. So the raid command, send viewers to another channel when your stream ends. So I'm going to say that this is going to work, right? Soon it will be. Hold on. Gary. No. Maurice to Kim. Kim to Maurice. Jan to Kim. What's next? I'm so confused. Jan's example. Got it. Who knows? Soon it will be Gary to Kim. I'm lost. But anyway, thank you everyone for coming along to tonight's stream. Oh, did I? Again? I apologise. Okay. Maurice, Kim. I'm sorry. You've been saying. Oh, have I? Oh, I do apologise. I'm maybe going a bit dawdled in my old age. I don't know what to say. I do apologise. I definitely think that's the case, Bob. That is exactly what's happening, Bob. Right. So I've put the command into the Twitch app to raid Tyler's stream when this stream ends. So that's a low blow. That's a low blow, Kev. So I think you're meant to specify like a word when, or a phrase when you do the raid. So when you go into Tyler's stream, we need to say that PowerShell rocks is what we need to put in there, and see what response Tyler gives you back. So I'm going to put this in, right? And when my stream ends, I think you're all going to be sent over to Tyler's stream. So thanks very much. I'm going to click the raid now button, and have a good one. Talk to you later.